Last day we were discussing about our Pascal lesson. Basically, we discussed up to, I guess we discussed up to loops. Page number 24, I guess. Sorry. We discussed up to page number 24. Now today we have to discuss about the other things like nested loops and nested if-else statement, nested loops and case, switch case. So let's proceed with that quickly, and then we can move to the array part as the last section. Okay, we discussed about operator precedence last day. I'm not going to repeat the same, but you know that. So we discussed about these levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and the bracket should come first level, right? So bracket should be given the priority, dismissing here. The bracket should come to the first level. And so what happens if two things are in the same level? If two operators in the same level, here you can see. So the both operators, the division and multiplication, both are in second level. So the execution will happen left to right, right? Two operators දෙකක් එකම level එකේ තියෙනවා නම්, if two operators in the same level, then the execution happen left to right. So division will happen first and then the multiplication, because that is the order, left to right. So otherwise it's wrong, right? If multiplication happens first, like 4 into 2 will be 8, 16 divided by 8 is 2. So that is wrong. So it's left to right. 16 divided by 4 first, 4 into 2 is 8. So that is how it happens. And we then discuss about the comments, different formats of the comments, two ways. This is one comment type and this is another comment type. Both are okay. Comments are used to indicate or describe the code, or it can be used to temporarily disable the code. So let's go to Pascal Online Compiler. So this is it. So here you can see some comments. So this is the first comment style. And this one is also acceptable. This is also a valid comment style. You can use asterisk and brackets. It's a valid comment style. Right, both are valid comment style. And comment can be used to disable the codes also. Here, if you use a comment in front of this, then it will disable that code from the execution. It will not execute. You will not see hello world here. But if you remove the comment, you will see the hello world. එතකොට code එකක් විස්තර කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. We can explain the code, and not only that, we can temporarily disable the code. Now when you run this without the comment, you can see it's executed. So comments are used for the both purposes, right? Let's move to the next page. This is 24, 25. We learn about the integer variables, and then this if-else statement and nested if also. Here you can see, if the marks greater than 75, grade is A. Else if mark greater than 65, then grade is B. Else if mark greater than 50, grade is C. Else if mark greater than 35, grade is S. And else grade is F. Likewise, so nested if can be used. Describe about that as well. Okay, we learn about that too. So the next one. The next thing is this switch case statement. Let's learn about that. Actually, we didn't learn that part last day. Let's quickly learn this code. This is simple. This is also like if-else. Mekat if-else wagema tama. But this is easy because in if-else you have a lot of code in here. Multiple if-else statements need a lot of code in. But here it's easily you can use different conditions. So same thing here. Same thing is given with different ways, different conditions. Same thing. So let's start that and write in code here. Okay, let's see. Program find rate. Actually, this is optional. You can mention input, comma output. Eka natat command, right? Input without input output also it will work. So this part is optional. You can just ignore this part. Without the input output also that will work. But better if you can indicate, because it shows that program has both input and output. Okay, I'll run this with and without, both will work, right? Then before begin the variables, marks is one variable which is integer. And you have grade as another variable, which is a character, right? Grade. And then let's say write a line, write enter marks. Based on the marks, you are going to decide something that you are going to read it to the variable marks. Message ekata write karne ka. So like user will write the answer and you are going to read that answer into marks. After reading, then the case of case marks of, right? Case marks of, then you have to give the range. If it is of like 0 to 34, then you can say grade is equal to colon equal to, the character is W or F you can give. The next case is 35 to 49. Grade is let's say S, simple pass. Similar to that, you can give the other grades also. Yes. Then let's say 50 to 64. 50 to 64. Grade is C. 65 to 74. Grade is B. And if not, like 75 to 100, it is A. Likewise, you can assign the grade. And if not, you can say else. In case of මේකට ආවේ නැත්නම් else එකක් අපිට දෙන්න පුළුවන් else. You can say write ln something wrong, right? Invalid marks. And you can again check this, you can end this case statement, and you can check this separately if marks marks greater than or equal to 0 and marks less than or equal to 100, two conditions. You are checking whether it's greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 100, then you can say that it's valid mark. So you can print the write ln grade is, you can mention the grade that you have calculated. That's it. Run it, and it's asking you the marks, enter marks. When you enter, displays the grade. And grade is then space B. Space the grade. Let's run it. Give some higher marks, 90. Say grade is A. Give some very low mark, 23. Its grade is W, fail. Let's give invalid marks. It's say invalid marks. Right? Shall we do this quickly? It's a very simple code. So without input output also it will work. If you remove this input output, still it will work. You can see the same thing. Still works. But better if you mention this, it's mentioned in the book. Please do this quickly, and then we'll move to the next one. Next one is actually nested if else and nested loops. Right, the next thing is nested loops. Nested loops means we can include loops inside loops, or we can include selection inside loops, if else inside loops. We can either include selection inside loops or loops inside selection. Both are okay. Right. So let's see how you can do this. Before that, I need to tell that, okay, this for loop we have discussed. We have discussed about for loop, while loop, and repeat loop. There are three loops. Three repetition statements: for loops, while loops, and do while loops. Let's do that quickly to understand, to remind that. So let's say you have a variable k which is integer, variable k, general for loop, just say loops. You can say for, you can give a value for k equal 1 to 10, do, let's say, write ln, k, I'm writing k. So when I run this, it's printing 1 to 10. You can see it's printing 1 to 10. 1 to 10. And if you want to print this horizontally, not write ln, you have to use write k space, then some space inside the quotation, it will write the variable and then put space, right? 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, up to 10 space. So this is general for loop. It's going 1 to 10. 1 to 5 will go 5 times. 0 to 4 will also go 5 times because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But 5 to 10 also will go, including 5, it will go 6 times, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it's 6 times. Right? This is general for loop, but there is a reverse for loop also. I couldn't tell that actually. I couldn't tell that when we learn. So reverse for loop means you can use the other way. Okay, let's use other way. In other way, you can say after this, let's just write line. Write ln, just empty write ln to have space. And after that, I'm rewriting another for loop. This second for loop, I'm just mentioning, okay, this second for loop, let's mention like this, 10 to 1, 10 to 1, not 1 to 10, 10 to 1. But if I mention 10 to 1, it won't work. I have to tell 10 down to 1, then only it will work. 10 down to 1, you can say 10 to 1 will be printed. So down to is also, that is the reverse format of for loop. Remember both, right? For loop, forward format is also there, the reverse format is also there. Reverse format is going down to, forward format 10 to 1, reverse format 10 down to 1. So both formats are there. Okay. Do you need time to copy this? If so, you can copy it quickly. Now let's see, right? Okay, I'll give you a small exercise. I think that's better. It's like we can experiment this loop knowledge with this exercise. I'm going to assist you throughout the exercise. Don't worry about this control or the nested structures. Let's do, right? Let's do small exercise. And so please remember that this will come for your examination. Right? Please remember that this will come for your examination, right? So be careful, understand and write down this, and understand and do this. Okay, let's open our note. Okay, please write down the question. Write a Pascal code. Write a Pascal code. Write a Pascal code to input 10 numbers find the total and average of those numbers. Also find the maximum and the minimum and display those. So question is simple, but answer is not simple. And also remember that one of these answers will come for your examination too. Exam එකටත් මේක එනවා. One of these answers will come to the examination. Actually, this is hybrid question. It makes, so you have to input 10 numbers. First write down the question. Under this, you have to input 10 numbers. Sorry, input 10 numbers. You need to input 10 numbers. And then find the total, find the average. So I'll help. Don't worry, I'll help. I'll give the initiative. Then you can follow up. Input 10 numbers can be done this way. Okay, finished writing? I hope, right? You have to find the total, average, minimum, and maximum. Okay. Input 10 numbers can be done this way. You can write the same loop, but this time you can write enter a number. Actually, you have to do 10 times, right? Enter a number. So let's say there's another variable called num, and there's another variable called total. You can introduce any number of variables, and then you can say read the input to num. Num read karana. Okay, this should happen 10 times. So I'm going to. So if there are more than two statements, two or more statements, you can't write for loop like this. Then make a vitarai. Only this part will happen 10 times. See this when I run this. Enter a number 10 times, right? You can see. But that is not what we need. Enter number, then read both. Both should come together now. So I have to include that by writing begin to this and end to this, right? You know, if there are multiple lines, I have to write begin and end to that. If for so this will belongs to 4 and run together, right? Then you can see input number, enter a number, and read in number. I'm entering one number, reading it. Entering another number, reading it. Entering another number, reading it. Entering another, reading, enter another, read, enter another, read, enter another, read, and enter another, read. Altogether, it enters. It gives me a prompt to enter 10 numbers, right? You can see 10 numbers. But you have to, what you have to do, you need to find the total, average, minimum, maximum. Let's do this now. I'll give you 10 minutes, right? Let's do this now. Quickly do this. I'll do one more thing, that is finding the total. Then decide whether you can do this. So how to find the total? Let's see this visually or the graphically. Let's say these are some hearts. These hearts are falling from the sky. And you are asked to collect these hearts. And you have a bucket. The bucket is initially empty. The bucket is initially empty. You are to collect these hearts, right? So all together, actually 10 hearts will fall down. 10 hearts will fall down. This is similar to the scenario that we are referring to, right? The 10 hearts will fall down. Hearts you have empty bucket and you have to catch it. So let's think about that and write the code, right? The total. Initially, you have to tell total is 0 because empty. It's empty. Nothing is there. Then hearts are falling down. The first heart came. So what you have to do? You have to tell the total equal the current total, the current bucket. It's empty. Empty bucket plus the new heart. The new heart is the new number. So the second time when it comes, the existing will have one heart. The existing, the first heart will be here. The second time you are telling that heart plus the new heart. Now 2 hearts. The third time you are telling that hearts, 2 hearts plus the new heart. So likewise, you can catch the hearts and ultimately after this loop, you can print it. You can write a line, right? WRITLN. You can say the total is, the total. Okay, let's run this quickly and see the results, whether we are getting this. Entering some numbers. Let's enter some numbers. Okay, it says total is 58. It's calculating all the numbers and giving the total. I'll do one more thing, the average. Average is actually a real, right? AVG or average is a real type data. Real means it has decimals. So it's very easy. How to find the average? You can say AVG average is equal to total divided by 10. Then simply you can say the average is average. But the thing is that when you print like that, what will happen? Let's see. When you print like this, average comes as a scientific number. But in order to make this with limited decimal points, you can just include 2 decimal points like this. Then the average will not come as a scientific number. It will be calculated as a floating point number with 2 decimal points. You can see total is 592 and 59.20 is the average. Okay, now you can do the minimum maximum. I'll give you a small trick. Tell me the answer for this as well. So let's say you have one student in our class. We have one student in our class. Don't know, with this power cut, lot of students, you know what, lot of students, actually they will take this as a granted excuse. So I don't know, this is happening for these actually, especially for O-level students. They will take this as a granted excuse. Power naha kiyanne ada current ada yanna onne panti, ada current එක නැහැනි. ඉතින් online panti ada නැතුව ඇති. ada yanna ඕන නැහැ. So some are like prejudging like that. Some are judging ada current නැහැනි. ඉතින් ඒ හින්දා මට යන්න බෑ. Current නැහැනි කරුවලයිනි. හින්දා panti යන්න බෑ. Some are telling like that. So likewise, this will be taken as a granted excuse for some. But the මෙහෙම මුළු අවුරුද්දක් ගියොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? I asked the same thing from A-level student last time. Last time when I was doing A-level class for some students, they said that when I started online, they said, sir, physical ma karamu, online බෑ වගේ. Online නිකන් තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ වගේ. So I said, no, you have to adapt to the online environment. Otherwise, what will happen? You won't be able to face your examination. But they said, no, sir, අපි මාස 3කින් හරි අරින්නේ එතකොට අපි කරමු physically. But you know, it never happened. It never happened. And finally, they had to go for the examination without any knowledge. Unfortunately, there were some students who came until end of the class. They talked to me, they called me and they said me, sir, we have written the examination and thank you for giving us knowledge throughout this time. We successfully faced the examination, but other students, they missed everything because they got that as a granted excuse. The online කියන එක ඒගොල්ලන්ට දෙද්දි ඒගොල්ලෝ physical කර කර හිටපු students ලා, they were in physical classes, but they thought online is different from the physical classes and they took that as a granted excuse. Finally they had to go for the examination without any knowledge. ඔයාලත් දැන් ඔහොම වෙන්න යන්නේ. මේ power cut අපි දන්නේ කොච්චර කාල තියෙයිද කියලා. You have to find a solution. That's why I did yesterday also I did common practical session with special session. And I asked you to come. Why? The reason is, it's very important. We are in such a country. We don't know when this will be fixed. There will be even more power cuts in future. Maybe 9-hour power cut, 12-hour power cut. So then what you are going to do? Are you going to say, sorry, no, we can't come, we don't have power, we don't have data? Are you going to tell the same story? Or are you going to keep your backup? I think you should keep your backup ready. So maybe off-grid system or backup power system or solar system. If you don't have solar power, maybe solar is a little bit costly. So I'm using small solution with solar power. It's only 25,000 rupees. That solution. So very, very small solar board and small battery. 2 UPS batteries, and that is enough to do the classes. So about you, what about you? You can also come to the classes with the same solution if you wish. But if you get this as a granted excuse, then you won't come for the classes. Ultimately, you will fail. You will come and tell, sir, අපි මුලින් ඉඳන් ආපහු කරමුද කියලා. හයි දැන් ඔය power cut හරි ගියා. අපි දන්නේ power cut හරියයි තව අවුරුද්දකින්වත් හරියයිද. According to this situation, we can't predict. We are not in such country. We are in a third world country, and it's also going reverse. So we don't know when this will be fixed. Even with rain, we will not be able to generate power in future. Even with rain. වැස්සත් ඉස්සරහට hydropower වලින් යන්න බැරි තත්ත්වයක් එයි. So that is the thing. So you have to be prepared, right? Solar is free, coming throughout the day. You have to collect it and use it efficiently. Okay, so let's say I'm asking small question related to this problem. So let's say, Kasun, you are the only student in the class, and I'm asking to find the tallest student and the shortest student. And Kasun is the only student in the class. Others also can answer. If Kasun is the only student in the class, who's the tallest?
Kasun.
Kasun. If Kasun is the only student in the class, the tallest one is Kasun. Who is the shortest?
Kasun.
It's also Kasun. එක student කෙනෙක් පන්තියේ හිටියොත් tallest to there, shortest to there. So that is the trick. So let's take this out. මම එකපාරක් මේක එළියට ගන්නවා. So let's assume I'm taking one student, right? One student. I'm reading one number, and after reading, I'm just putting this max and min also. Those are also variables, max, min. And if there is one number, the max is same number, and min is also the same number. Min වෙන්නේ තයාම තමයි. කයි නම් ඉන්නේ පන්තියේ ඒකේනා තමයි. If there is one student, he is the maximum and he is the. If one marks, he is the maximum. That is the maximum and that is the minimum, and the total even that. Total එකත් ඒකම. The maximum is this, minimum is this, total is also this. If there is one, right? But there are 9 more to come. 1 to 9. There are 9 more to come. Right? You have one max, one min, the same one is max, same one is min, same num is the total, but there are 9 more to come. 9 more to come. Then what you're going to do with next time? Let's say, okay, Kasun is in the class. There is another student. Let's say another student's name is Gayan. Gayan also comes to the class. Okay, next Gayan comes. Now what you have to do? Who's the tallest? Is it Kasun or Gayan? When Gayan comes, who's the tallest? Gayan උත් එනවා පන්තියට. දැන් Kasun ඉන්න පන්තියට Gayan එනවා. Then tallest කවුද? Is it Gayan or Kasun? Hello guys. Who is the tallest? Is it Gayan or Kasun? Okay, you got my question. Kasun is in the class. Can you hear me, Pute?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Kasun is in the class. Then Gayan also come to the class. Kasun was in the class, so Kasun is the tallest. Kasun is the shortest. Now Gayan came. Who's the tallest now? You don't know, right? You have to compare. Isn't that so? දන්නේ නැහැනේ compare කරලා බලන්න එපා. You have to compare and check if, the newcomer Gayan, the number, if he is bigger than Kasun. Get a max start වඩා ලොකුයිද? Then max is equal to that Kasun. ඉන්න ගයාන්ටත් වඩා ලොකුයි නම් මේ ආවේ ගයාන් කසුන්ටත් වඩා ලොකුයි නම් ගයාන් තමයි දැන් max. අනිත් එකත් ඒ වගේ. If ඉන්න ආපු ගයාන් හිටපු කසුන්ටත් වඩා කුඩායි නම් පොඩි මෙක්කෙනත් කසුන්නේ එයාටත් වැඩිය පුංචි නම් if then you can say min is Gayan. You have to do this continuously 9 times. I hope you understand. You have to do this continuously 9 times. After that, you can print it. Now you are done. මට කියලාම කරගත්තා නේද? Now you are done. So what is done? Actually, you can say the maximum is, that is the max. මේ round 10 ගියාට පස්සේ මොකද ඉස්සලම බලනවා max. Max is the initial number. Then the newcomer is, if newcomer is greater than max, that is the max. Again checking. If newcomer is greater than the current max, that is the max. Again you are checking. 9 times you are checking. If newcomer is greater than the max, that will be the max. And finally, you are printing the max and you are printing the minimum. Okay, let's see whether this is working. This will come for your examination. So do this and understand this carefully. So you have to enter 10 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can see 464, there's total average, and the max is 98. Yeah, correct. And min is 26. Yes, correct. Okay, this is the output and this is the code, right? Please write the code there. Okay, sorry. So please write it there. Practice it and write it and do it. In the next section, so they mention about repetition inside selection, and try to understand the code, and first of all, try to understand the code by reading it. So these kind of activities will be there in the examination. Okay, try to understand this code by reading it. What will happen? So there are two variables, integer and character variable, num and cho. And basically you are given a message, select ascending, descending, and reading that to cho variable. You are asking for an option from the user A or D, and reading that to cho variable as a character. If this cho is A, that means if user enter A, user A press karo, then what will happen? Begin and you are printing right ln ascending order, then 1 to 6 you are printing the number. You are just printing numbers from 1 to 6. And the other one, if cho is D, if cho, that whatever he enters is D, then printing in descending order. So basically 6 down to 1, 6 to 1. So it's descending order. So this is how you place loops inside if else. So let's do this quickly. You can also do this. I will not give you the time to do this, but practice this. This is in page number, what is the page number? 34. Page number 34. I'll quickly show, but you have to practice. So let's go and create this program. And you have two variables. What are they? Basically, you are reading the character and also a number. No, you are not reading a number, but you are reading, yeah, num. That is to actually loop through. Yeah, loop through, the number is used. Then cho is a character variable, char. You are printing a message, right? You are printing a message. Okay. Select ascending or descending order. Copy because it's wrong, right? That again. Select ascending or the descending order and read it to the cho variable. And if cho said, then you can say if this cho variable is equal to character A ascending. If cho equal to A, then you have to print. Okay. Write ln. Say right. This is also write ln. I'm using write ln, right? Write ln. You are given a message ascending order, and after that I'm using a for loop for num equal 1 to maybe 6 or 10, any number. do what? You can write the number with some space. I'm writing horizontally, right? Okay, horizontally. Then else comes. So else come, no, not else actually. So you can use else if or if, anything you can use, right? Else if or if. So let's use if. If again, if CHO, same thing, if CHO equal to descend in order, D, CHO is D, then descend in order. Then here actually 6 down to 1. 6 down to 1. And that is descend in order. You're printing another way, right? You can see. Select ascending or descending. I'm selecting A and you can see it's printing from 6 to 1, 1 to 6 both. What has happened there? Oh, I have to end this. If CHO is D, then descend in order. Okay, and this as well. So what's wrong with there? And without begin, right? That's the thing. This if begin and end, and if this again begin and end. Otherwise it won't create a. Okay, I'm asked to order ascending, and you can see 1 to 6. And if I run this, I'm asking the order, I'm putting descending 6 to 1. So you can see that is the result. You can also practice this, which is in the code. You can practice and leave this down. If and inside if you have for loops, that is one structure. This next one, the next is selection inside rep, that we have done already. Selection inside repetition. So you can see there's another one. For count equal 1 to 10, do 10 times you are doing what? Read the number, and you are calculate. You are modulating by 2, dividing the number by 2, mod by 2. Then remainder is 0. It's saying even number and increasing the even count. You can see even count is 0 initially, right? No. That's the even count. Okay. This will surely give an error. You have to tell the even count is 0. Okay, let's run the code. You can try this, Pute, but when you run the code, I'm sure it will give an error. The reason is here because you have not initialized the variable. Let's see the code. Okay, 34 not needed. You have 2 things and begin. And inside the begin, yes, the bracket comes. So count equal right here. Wanted to begin. We have this. Write and enter the number. And you are calculating, read the number. After reading the number, you are just okay, let's order this. After reading the number, you are saying the remainder of the number is equal to number mod 2. Okay. Then if remainder is 0, then that means that is even. You're writing as even number. Then you're increasing the count equal count plus 1. That is okay. So let's remove this part. And at the next set of codes, this is it. I'm sure this will give an error, but let's see, and I'm not sure. So with is there any other code in pattern name? Begin, mostly it should give. Write ln odd number. The odd count equal, because if remainder is not 0, you are increasing the odd count and ending this part. And ending the else. So beginning of this if and ending this. Beginning of this and ending this. beginning of the whole thing and ending this, that is like beginning of this for loop. And finally, you are ending the entire program by printing E count and O count. E count, O count. So let's run this. You can see it's giving an error. What is that? Here you can see the warning variable E count seems to be initialized. That is a warning. And fatal error 14 else if this one begin and end, that is okay. Else begin and end, that is also okay. Or if begin and end, else begin and end, that is okay. That is not the problem. Is there any other error? Semicolon expected, else false. Semicolon is given here. Still that gives an error. 14th line, did I miss anything? No, I guess I didn't miss. Begin here, that is the main begin, end here, okay. For here, begin of the for loop and ending of the for loop, that is also okay. If remainder equals 0, then the begin and this part. Else, right, the begin and end. Not end this. Okay. Now it's asking enter a number with 2 warnings. Actually, no initialized thing. I'm entering a number and it says even number, enter number. I'm entering another number. It says odd number, enter number. I'm entering another number, odd number, enter number. Likewise, it will test for even number. You can see even number. Likewise, it's testing for 10 numbers, right? You can just give a practice, but you can see there's small error. Okay. And finally, 5 odd numbers, 5 even numbers, printing that as well. Let's put some space here. And also let's initialize these things, and that is a best practice. Here, before we begin, we can say E count and O count both are equal to 0. Then this warning will not appear. There is additional code that I can add. Then the warning will not appear. Initially, yes, here you can see no warnings. And here also my recommendation is just write right, or not write ln, just write right, because it should not go to the next line. Okay. Now let's see, write a number and straight away stops. I think you have to give colon sign as well, because then it will be more readable with space. Okay, enter a number, colon space. Now I can enter a number. It says even number. Now it's more clear, I guess. Even number, even number, even number, again even number, all are even numbers again even number, one odd number please, one more even number and one more even number. You can see 9 even numbers and 1 odd numbers. Okay, so this is how you have to edit the code for the last one, right? We have done all the codes up to page number, page number 35. Now the array part is a bit different. Array and sub procedures, right? Sub procedures and arrays, we can do that next day, and we will be finishing our code in class next day. After that, some theories. So please be on time by next week. We will be finishing our code in class, so be on time, right? Then if you want, just take a snapshot or copy this code, or let me send it to the chat, because I have edited the code which is in the book, which is not the same code. So you can copy and paste this and test this, and also write down this in your writing book or somewhere in the note. Odd, even, check-in for 10 numbers. adding the font there. You also try to add this code to your note, which I have sent. Right? Please try to add the code to your note because it's very important, right? Elena, I missed something. Add this one as well. That is missing, and I have sent that also because this part is missing, right? I have added that. Okay, copy the code which is there in this and try it. Okay, Bhute, with that I'll stop for today. Next day we'll be discussing about the other parts. Okay. Then good night. See you all next week.
Good night, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good night, sir.